this week on some Ashi Garami or single leg X, whatever you want to call it. Now, most of the time when we look at this position, we learn how to get there when someone is standing and either using some form of legs inside, shoot through, or legs outside, get their hands to the floor, then pummel everything back in. Now we're going to take a look at it from a little different spot when our partner has gotten chest to chest in half guard. Okay, now on Sunday we took a look at what happens when his knees are on the floor, how to get out of this position. But now we're going to look at what happens when we're a little late, and not only does he get chest to chest, but he has an underhook, and he has a crossface, and now he takes his knees off the floor and starts to drive into our face with his shoulders like so. Okay, so first things first is I want to make sure my legs are like somewhat locked. My knees are pinched, but I'm not like locking a figure four or anything. This feels really secure, but it's not really doing anything. I want to have my feet kind of open but touching. And from here, my first goal is to find his ankle with my half guard leg here. So just take the sole of my foot right to his ankle here. Once I find his ankle, now I just trace his leg and bring my butterfly hook right inside his knee like so. Now once I have my legs in place, my next goal is to make sure that my jaw is not inside his crossface. And I'll show you from a different angle. So I just hide my jaw. Now once I hide my jaw, I'm going to take my left hand and make a grip right on his jacket. As I get this grip on his jacket, I just take him over my left shoulder using my butterfly hook to start forcing his hands down to the floor. And now from here, I keep my left knee close to my chest. I push his lat away from me so I can create this nice angle to put him right in that Ashi Garami position with one of his knees on the floor. Now what he's going to be looking to do is looking to face me, and we'll look at some attacks in a second. Okay, so again, from a different angle, my partner has a crossface and an underhook. Okay, he managed to tripod and he's starting to put pressure here. Now, as you get good at this, I want you to make sure that as you're doing the leg work, you're also addressing the crossface. Okay, so what you weren't able to see from that side is I either use the material or I get my wrist on his shoulder and I bring my jaw underneath here. If his shoulder is right under my jaw, when I go to push him over my left, I just basically keep myself pinned. So I'm hiding my jaw, finding his ankle, and then pummeling that butterfly hook inside here. Now I make sure that I grab the material. Now even if Kevin hangs on for dear life, I just focus on kind of like shrugging my shoulders and pushing everything in this direction here to the point where he has to unlock. If he doesn't unlock his hands, he falls over, which nobody wants to. Now the second he unlocks his hands, I get all my hands right to his lat, create that angle where now I can see the whole side of his body. Knee comes to my chest, foot goes to his hip. Remember to keep the toes facing out so you don't get called for reaping. Now as he starts to face you, I just start making my grips, and now I'll look at attacks in a bit. Okay, so one more. We're here. Watch the leg work. I've already hit my jaw. I make sure I first cover, and then I get a butterfly hook. A lot of times I see people will just make a butterfly hook, and if you don't track, you can pummel his leg free, or worse, he back steps, and now you're out of the position. When I have this here, he tries to pummel, he tries to back step, it's going to be tough for him to do anything. Now he hangs on, I just shrug, push the lat, make my grips, he starts to face me, and I make sure that I'm always grabbing something with both my hands. And you'll notice, turn a little bit, that I'm also focusing on closing my ankle to my own knee like so, here. Okay? One thing to think about is it'll feel like a cheese grater on your face, so the more you can kind of tuck and shrug your shoulders, the more it'll slip off your head as well. All right, 3, 2, 1. You hit that initial escape right from this position. Now, in theory, a lot of times I'm sure you guys have been taught that we always want to try to get control of his sleeve, right? Especially the far sleeve. Then from here we go foot on the hip, and then we supposedly take him over. Okay, like I learned that one a lot as a lower belt. I feel like I've never had good success with it because a lot of times people want to deny you the sleeve. Like even if I get to the collar and I'm forcing his hands to the floor, at some point he starts breaking my grip, right? And now I can try to get to his sleeve, but I feel like again this is a pretty weak grip. He breaks it, and then you just kind of end up in this position here. So what I like to do a lot is I like to kind of start pushing him, getting onto my side, so I can always be forcing his hand to the floor. Now I can take my hand and go to the end of the pants at the far leg here. And I'll show you from a different angle. But whenever I get pants grips, I momentarily bring my thumb inside so that I can flip the material open. I don't want to leave my hands or fingers inside the gi. And once I can get to the end of the pants and get my knuckles involved, it's such a super strong grip. Now, as I do this, I'm going to start digging my elbow right inside his ankle here. Okay, so now when I start pushing him with my top leg, I also start doing like that Russian Turkish get up, whatever it is, the Turkish get up, right, where they lift the kettlebell. So I start pushing and I start lifting the kettlebell. As I lift it, I swing my leg up like so that I can start building up. And as I start building up, generally this leg starts to kind of fall to the floor, and as I feel that leg falling, I start pulling the other leg through into an easy sweep, okay? Now, it's not the prettiest sweep, but it gets the job done, and that's kind of what I like a lot of times, especially against people that are better than you. So again, we're here, right? I'm always trying to get collar control. If I can get his sleeves, that's great, but I feel like a lot of guys are really good at keeping sleeves away. So from here, I start pushing onto my side by stepping, and now I can get to the end of the pants. As I get to the end of the pants, I get my forearm inside. If I don't get my forearm inside, even if you kick them away, I feel like I get stuck here on the leg and then I can't get up. So I make sure my forearm is kind of holding his weight. So as I push, now I feel the leg is light. I swing on up. And of course, if you can keep this leg up high, great. But a lot of times when you're sparring, it starts to fall, and not a big deal. I just start pulling the opposite leg here. And now I maintain my grips, and I can start going into my guard passes. Or if he starts running away, I have excellent control of his two legs here. Okay, so one more. I'll show you the grip. Right here, knee down, knee down. All right, so I'm kind of down here as low as I can. The lower you get, the stronger this grip's going to be. And now from here, I'll do it in one speed. Get that forearm inside, push, build height so that you're taller than your partner. All right, 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right, so same position. Okay, now a lot of times when I'm learning jiu-jitsu or when you guys are learning jiu-jitsu, I like to get really good at one move and kind of build other moves around that one move's major problems. Now, one of the biggest things that can happen and that this guy can do to stop this move is, it's so simple and it's really annoying, is just grab my top leg like so. Okay, if he can control my top leg, when I try to heist up, it becomes really hard. Okay? Now my whole game is kind of shut down from this position. Now, of course, there's other stuff I could do. I could, start switching to a scoop grip and then start pummeling just my foot into like X guard here. That's always a good option. Okay, but to kind of touch on what we did last week, we can start kind of putting stuff together. So from here, I'm going to extract my bottom leg to the inside and put myself across. Almost like I'm going into 50-50. Now, if I was going into 50-50, which is a good option too, I'd have to pass the leg all the way across my body. But instead, what I'm going to do is, remember that forearm grip we talked about? I'm going to use this forearm grip to place my knee right inside his leg so I don't get smashed, I don't get leg drag. If I don't have that forearm underneath the leg, he puts his foot on the floor. Now from here, he heel toe. He starts walking, getting his knee and shoelaces to the floor, and then you get smashed and you get your guard pass. So I have to make sure I have that forearm. So when he tries to get his foot to the floor, it's tough, and I get that knee right underneath. And now we're almost in that waiter position we looked at. Now the hand that was on the bottom pant goes wrist deep, and I start pulling myself around the corner till I get my big biceps around his leg. And now we play that game we did yesterday, or last week, where I just start taking him backwards. Or if I feel like he's weight's really far forward over my head, I go to that wedgie grip, pull myself around and behind, collect both legs. As he starts trying to face me, I force his hands to the floor, and then we use that same crab ride. Okay, so again, the whole entire thing. Okay, the number one issue that you'll run into is them controlling this top leg here. So one, I make sure my forearm's there. Okay, if he can get that foot to the floor, this isn't a good option. Okay, so I get that foot off the floor. Now I shoot my foot across. As I shoot my foot across, I'm pulling myself and getting this angle here so that I'm not completely in front of him here. Now I get that scoop grip, and now we're in that waiter position here. If you feel this grip is pretty weak after you rotate, you can double scoop or foot lock. I usually try to scoop if I can. And now I take them either backwards or get that wedgie grip, force his hands to the floor, and then start taking them back here, okay? One more. We're here, we're stuck with double pants. I shoot my leg almost like I'm going 50-50. Now I get that knee inside. Move everything through, scoop, start taking him backwards, and pass it. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so everything's kind of interchanged between last week and now today. Okay, so same thing, he's controlling my top leg. I make sure I got that forearm inside. I switch my foot here, and now this time I do a poor job of keeping this ankle unweighted, and he gets his foot to the floor like so. Okay, so now we're in jeopardy of getting smashed like I said. Okay, so from here, the second this happens, I have to release this hand on the pants and go to either a cross collar or a cross lat. So as he tries to put weight onto me, I can keep some distance. Now my whole thing is I want to start getting onto my side as best as I can and pummel this butterfly hook in. So now as he tries to put weight back onto me, I'm using my butterfly hook to keep weight off of me. Okay, so in the previous move we had our knee behind. Now we're using our butterfly hook behind. Now, because he got his foot to the floor, this pant grip serves me no purpose. Even if I get him off, sure, I could try to dig my elbow inside, but sometimes I feel that's challenging. So now, I get my footlock grip, and I try the moves that we did last week. Okay, but this time, not only did I mess up the first part, but I messed up the second part, and he does get that foot to the floor. Okay, so pretty soon, he wants to put weight on this foot. Okay, if he stays on one knee, it's so easy to get weight off the foot. So a lot of times he'll actually start standing up. So now he has so much weight on his foot here. So now from here, I take out my butterfly hook, and now I bring my knee back inside. As I bring my knee back inside, I threaten to start taking him backwards. Now you'll notice my foot is still behind him here. I start threatening to take him backwards. Now, it's never going to be enough to fully sweep him. So as he recovers his base, now I get control of the pant leg again. As I get control of the pant leg again, I get his hands to the floor by kicking his butt. And now I insert that butterfly Ashi hook again. Now I push him, get that heel right back where we want it. And from here, that Kimura grip we talked about, where I roll my wrist, push him away, and from here, I get that pressure right on the ankle like so. Okay. Sometimes I feel like I have a hard time getting the right sweet spot. So what I recently started doing is I watched Jason Rao, and he talks about stepping on his own shin. And you feel the difference, right? It's like instantly way tighter, and the angle becomes so much sharper. Where now I can step on my own calf and shin and get really good pressure. Okay, so again, a lot to recap. Long story short, he got his foot to the floor. So that pant grip serves me no purpose. I go right away to the collar. As he tries to force that leg drag, I'm staying on my side, keeping distance, and getting this hook inside. So now I keep weight off of me and make that footlock grip here, like so. Now, of course, if he does nothing, we do the moves that we looked at last week. But this guy came to class, hopefully, and he puts weight on his foot by standing up. Okay, now let's turn so you guys can see my leg work. Keep turning, okay. I take my butterfly hook out, bring my knee inside and hook his butt. Now I just do like your basic double ankle sweep, where I just lift my hips to take him backwards, and now I bring him forward. Okay, so I go back. I start by lifting my hips, then bringing my knees to my chest so I can recollect this leg. Now as I recollect this leg, I can make this butterfly hook. Because now when he tries to put weight on that ankle, I just start pushing him away. I get that ankle in that sweet spot. If I need to step on my own shin to make it even sharper, tap. And I get a nice break. Okay, let's give that a shot. 3, 2, 1.